Hey guitar geeks, Guitar Guts back. Today I've got some tips for changing strings on guitars with a Tune-o-matic bridge and stop bar tailpiece. Guitars like the Gibson Les Paul, Gibson SG, and some Paul Reed Smith guitars. It can come as a little bit of a shock for first-time owners of these guitars when they try to change the strings and find out that the tailpiece and the bridge are not necessarily connected to the guitar. When you take your string tension away, oftentimes the Tune-o-matic bridge will fall off because it's simply sitting on a couple of posts. And the tailpiece can also come off, possibly damaging your guitar as it falls. There's an easy way to avoid this, and I've been doing this for years, by using a little bit of low-tack painter's tape. I wouldn't use regular masking tape because when you pull it off it can leave a lot of residue, and sometimes there's a little bit left from this, but usually a rag with just a tiny spot of oil on it will wipe that right away if there is anything left. What I do in order to keep these two pieces both from falling off and from changing adjustment when I change strings is I use a little piece of that tape and I wrap it around the tailpiece and fold it over the top of the adjustment screw. And that's important because just putting the tape on the tailpiece will hold the tailpiece on the guitar, but if you don't also wrap it around the top of that adjustment screw, once the tailpiece falls off, sometimes these screws are loose in the threads in the guitar, and they can actually turn just from the vibrations of you messing around with the guitar trying to get the strings back on. And when you get your tailpiece or your bridge back on, it'll be out of adjustment from what it was before. I do exactly the same thing with the bridge, although I try to catch a little bit of the thumb wheel and make sure that it also is taped to where it can't move. This little thumb wheel adjustment right here below the bridge, if it changes, then the height of your bridge will be changed after you change your strings out, and that'll throw your string height off. But if you take the tape and wrap it around that thumb wheel to begin with, and then wrap it up over the top of your bridge, that piece can no longer move. And your bridge won't fall off because it'll be attached to that thumb wheel adjustment, which is screwed into the body of your guitar. You want to make sure that the tape that you're putting on doesn't stretch far enough to get in the way of the string change itself, because the strings still need to be able to come out of their holes in the front of the tailpiece and the back of the tailpiece in order to get that string out of the guitar. You also don't want to stretch the tape far enough to get in the way of putting the new strings on or getting the new strings out of the saddle grooves. I've let this one hang over a little bit too far, and so I need to adjust that a little bit. Anyway, it's a quick tip. It helps with keeping your adjustment as it was before you change the strings, and it will keep these parts from falling off, rattling around, and possibly damaging your nice finish as they fall. Hope that helps. Hope you're enjoying playing your guitars as much as I am, and we'll see you again later.